welcome back to Rotten Rambling On, the podcast from Rotten Reels Reviews. This is a adult podcast. There will be adult language, adult situations. We may have a fairy dragon float in here and, I don't know, blow some chemical compound that makes us euphoric.
Wait a minute, we're associated with Rotten Reels Reviews?
Why, yes, in fact we are, Shawn, and you can read Rotten Reels Reviews at rottenreelsreviews.blogspot.com.
Wow, we're practically a subsidiary.
It's so odd. And you're still making fun of me, I see. Okay, folks, you will note the total absence of girls in this, and get over it. Yeah.
Really? Total absence? We sound a little... Anyway,
no, my balls are dragging.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that life choice. Okay, moving on.
Yes, if you're female, you have a vulva, you can move on. But, hopefully you won't get that bullshit of, oh, she's a slut because she's been with more than like 3 guys. What the fuck is that about?
Unless it's a zombie vulva.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. No zombie vag. Yeah, I am anti-zombie vag. Today...
Fucking racist.
I know.
Okay, anyway. We've got off topic already. What were we talking about today?
I'm sorry, I was busily staring at your nose and going, is that Roman, Jewish? I don't know what it is.
It's leaking is what it's doing.
That's called a head coat. On and up today, we are actually hitting the topic we were going to do 2 weeks prior.
That's right, folks. We're back to geek topics.
Oh, yeah. But what's so funny is between snow and illnesses, we haven't been able to do any recording worth a tinker's damn outside of what we did with Jamie and Shauna, who will oddly enough be coming back next week. So, I guess get your favorite whack and sock handy, turn the lights down low,
Yeah.
Be in the moment.
Light those candles, get out your essential
We'll make
oils.
sure that they speak in the truest phone sex operator voices throughout the better chunk of it. That should be good for you.
No,
but,
I don't think I can participate in a show like that. But actually,
just not with the table being far away.
Oh, yeah.
Just going to have to scoot up a little.
On that note, folks, remember the Rotten Ramblings Facebook page, or what was that email address again?
Rotten Ramblings... gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah, I know. It's not really that exciting. I could have done better.
Send us questions when the girls come back. They're looking forward to
compliments, critiques,
all of your curiosities about everything.
Well, let's not get too bad. I mean, they might get some really creepy fetishists, want to know about their size of their feet and how they feel about a bukkake spray. It could get dark.
I've already got those questions covered. Those are
okay. Well, then you're on top of this.
You need to bring something else to the table.
All right. Well, what we initially came to talk about today is the wonderful RPG creation that is Fallout. This initially was spawned, and that's the best way to describe it, for a PC game in 1997. And now, while this was turn-based, you had to come to the feel, for any of those that actually did tabletop, this pretty much ran the exact same way that GURPS did. You had your special, which was strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. Now, with that being said, the world has, quote, ended. In atomic fire, the buildings and civilizations we know it have been not necessarily atomized, but highly obliterated.
They blew it all up?
Yes, those damn dirty apes.
It. They
you
did it.
maniacs! Yeah, you'll forgive me if I don't want to go full Heston, because that will tear up my throat. I don't know how he did it. The guy had a head cold when he was doing it.
And spoiler alert, folks, when you get to the end of the first Fallout, Soylent Green is people.
No. So we're all eating Edward G. Robinson?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yes.
God.
Really. Wait, can I say Soylent Green is people? That's not licensed, is it?
I think it might be by Soylent Green.
Good point.
Good thing we didn't say Soylent Green numerous times, though, because we could be getting a serious ass chewing.
Soylent Green, it's a tasty treat. Fun for girls and boys
made from
to
meat.
Eat. Made from meat.
Okay, so establishing the world has ended in an atomic fallout in the faraway time of 2077. What's so funny is all the technology, all the architecture, clothing, even the music. It's all this huge throwback to like the 1950s.
Yep.
So all our technology looks like something out of Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers or virtually any of the B-movie archetypes, and that even something as dumb as like Mars Need Women.
Hey,
There's
nothing dumb about Mars Need Women.
Heavens forbid, no.
Because Mars needs women. I mean,
Or
moms.
Priscilla, Queen of Deep Space.
Apparently, Mars also needs moms.
We won't go there.
Yeah,
that was much later.
that was.
But yeah, so the whole basis of it is the initial game. You are a vault dweller. All you have done is been bored and reside and do an assortment of jobs.
A vault? What is this?
Well, good that you asked that. It's clumsily. During the
Really,
atomic
I thought that was smooth.
During the atomic war in question, there were an assortment of underground layers, anywhere from 1 mile to 2, being able to shelter anywhere from up to 500 to about 1,000 people, allowing proper water and air filtration and an assortment stockpile of food. Or so they thought.
I understand these were happy and educational places to grow up, right?
Indeed there were, with educational holotapes, i.e. Betamax. I swear to God, that's what they look like.
Yep.
They look like Betamax. But that being said, however, so you have all these facets of it. In this particular first game, your water chip, the primary non-microprocessor. Did you see how big that thing was?
Oh, yeah.
It was bigger than this notebook. But yeah, because of this prominent condenser chip.
Yeah. Chip.
Yeah,
We got to get away from the word chip.
That thing had, flash tubes, vacuum tubes, condensers on it. You're going, this thing is enormous. But yes, our, quote, water chip has died. For some reason, the vault has never had a frickin' replacement. It is 200 years in the future. Or, 80 years in the future. My apologies. And one of you drew the short straw to go out, journey into the world of unknown to go get them a water chip.
Because nobody's actually really been out of the vault.
Yeah, nobody has left this vault ever. So they have... Well, at best, they have about 3 months worth of water left. That's still drinkable. People can still wash up, what have you. But that's it. 3 months. That is their projected. And then we're screwed.
Yeah. And so into the barren wasteland of the nuclear holocaust.
It is known as California.
Ventures our hero. And that's right. That's true. This one is set in California. Each of the Fallouts was set in a different area.
Fallout 1 and 2 were primarily California.
Yeah.
Now, the main reason for that is they just wanted to do a story arc. Yes, spoilers, folks, but you've had since 97, so piss up a row. The original vault dweller in question, after all his good deeds, gets kicked out of the vault due to the simple factor that his life experience thus far will encourage others to journey out and explore, and then what is left of the vault. So, 80 years later, he has founded his own tribal village, which means that was a lot of porking. I mean, did you see how fucking expansive that was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, 7 huts, if I remember, that I had to go around
no,
to
it was
in the beginning.
But yeah, you saw, approximately 50 to 80 some odd people there. So that was a lot of porking. That being said, in the second game, you are a descendant of said vault dweller. This is another, 60, 75 years later?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, so the whole basis of that, they have an artifact referred to as a GEC. Everything they refer as artifact. Anything pre-war tech is beyond them because, again, they're tribal and endeavors that they know how to hunt, track, do crops. That's about it.
Behold the mystical technology of the past.
Exactly. So this particular artifact is referred to as a GEC, a Garden of Eden creation kit. Basically, it terraforms.
Yeah.
It reduces radiation in the loose soil, allows you basically to kind of hit the reset button, and you got fertile land.
It also brings Vulcans back to life.
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it? I thought that was the Genesis torpedo.
Well, that's where they got it from.
Naturally.
Because when you shorten Genesis...
Spawn!
when you shorten Genesis and you cut out certain letters on it because it's been traveling through space so long. You get yak.
Does that mean Klingon bastards killed the descendant vault dweller's son?
Exactly.
That's terrible. Wow, I don't want to play the game.
I'm sorry, folks, if we didn't mention before, there are going to be lots of spoilers here. But as he said, you've had how many years now to catch up to this topic?
Like I said, this one came out in 97. Fallout 2 came out in 98.
Yep, they were just a year apart.
Yeah, what's so funny is, because of this genius factor, Interplay, who originally owned them, had worked alongside Black Isle Studios. They actually did a merger.
Well, no, actually,
Or did Black Isle buy them out? I can't remember.
Black Isle was an in-house.
Oh, so they were the graphics guys.
Yeah, Black Isle grew up out of Interplay,
okay.
if I understand correctly. Because Interplay came out of Garage in California back in 83.
Yeah, and of course they had their Star Trek games. They had a handful of just general games that weren't really hits.
Well, I mean, the 3-part Bard's Tale series back between 85 and 88 was very popular for a while.
For the TSR?
Yeah.
But
then they had all those awful Star Trek franchise games. And then finally, in 97, as you mentioned, they produce Fallout, which is a critically acclaimed game.
Oh my God! Has any of them really, with the exception of the two only console-based games, I don't think Fallout's been pissed on.
No.
To that magnitude.
Well, there's too much love for Fallout.
Well, my biggest complaints is...
Well, some of the Fallout
the first one that was made a console-based game was that Fallout Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah.
So there's no role-play. There's no turn-based, and it's all tactical combat. It's like you're playing a chess game or like one of those strategic tabletop games.
Yeah.
Think Warhammer 40K or Mordheim or whatever. You can throw Risk in there.
At this point, there are so many of those strategic miniature army battle games.
The biggest problem is it only ran on Dreamcast, and I want to say the first PlayStation.
It ran on the power of Dream.
Dreamcast, people. Remember that game system? Of course not. You're too fucking young.
Imagination.
Boy, did they take a bath on that one.
Oh, that could have gone better. But then, of course, with Fallout 2, the production of Black Isle, which in conjunction with
oh my God, how many hits did Black Isle get just from TSR?
Well, then, I was just going to say they made a deal with the developer BioWare for that entire franchise of Dungeons and Dragons games.
I mean, all your Icewind Dales, your Baldur's Gate, your Waterdeep.
What was that absolutely terrible Planescape?
Yeah, everybody says that. I honestly had fun with it. It's just, it was a little esoteric and kind of existential. It was a little baffling. I won't lie to you.
The problem is, in 98, Fallout 2 comes out. In 98, also, Interplay is just buried in debt. They're dying.
I mean, Black Isle was really doing their level best to save them. And they had produced Fallout Tactics, and they decided this is going to be our first one, and we're going to do this console-based. Oh, we just heard of this Dreamcast system. I'm sure that'll be fun. 15 goddamn games! 15!
Don't forget their plans for Fallout Online.
Oh, yeah, they're still talking about doing the MMORPG, but then they fell into, bankruptcy.
Which
Bethesda's still having this big disagreement with them, too.
Well, there was... See, the thing is, in...
Reach on, brother.
I believe... What was it? They sold the Fallout license to Bethesda.
Directly to Bethesda Software before they did 3.
The IP, but they retained the rights to the original Fallout games.
Okay, that one's still off.
And to... back licensing rights to Fallout
Online. For merchandising? Merchandising! Fallout the flamethrower! The kids are going to love that. Then of course they tried to do... And Interplay's last real gasp, I guess is the best way to describe it, was Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, where you're an initiative in the Brotherhood of Steel, and your main objective is to find out whatever happened to these missing paladins.
Yeah.
Now, this was released for PS2 and Xbox, but I gotta be honest, this sounds like a side quest.
It is a side
that
quest.
you would have gotten in any of the original games or the latter ones.
I was going to say, in Fallout 4, I'm doing that side quest
right
right now.
Exactly.
What happened to those paladins? And I'm trekking.
Gee, Winnicus.
I'm trekking all over fucking Massachusetts looking for these stupid.
Oh my god! Right?
Not a single one of them's alive. They all died.
No, they've been dead for God knows how long. I mean, this one poor broad walks into the National Guard's armory / barracks, only to be, I don't know, devoured by ghouls.
Yeah.
Though, admittedly, her body looked pretty sound, so, maybe they just didn't want to get too graphic. You find her little chunks of her, like, oh, what happened here?
Which makes no sense, because I pick up whole pieces of clothing off of tiny chunks of ghouls all the time.
That one's still baffling. I still love how physics are still kind of going, yeah, fuck you.
Fuck that shit.
What was so funny is, because this was released for PS2 and Xbox, this was a single-player / multiplayer as in a co-op. It had no direct standing in that. It was still first-person shooter in the works. It was still turn-based. You still had the ability to build up your skills as you went. But there really wasn't much else. That was just kind of like the cornerstone, and then there was no opportunities to go further. Almost, I mean, the first two games in question are almost open world.
Yeah, they're sandbox.
Your only predominant objective in the first game, get water chip.
Yeah.
Everything else is up for grabs.
How you get to that water chip is entirely up to you.
Exactly. Second game, the only thing you got to do, get Gek. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you could just fuck around. I mean, for God's sake, I don't know how many guys just went, I could go to MODOK, or I could run all the way down to San Francisco, talk to this Brotherhood of Steel guy, go and get those plans for the Vertibird, and then level up something fierce, get a bunch of armor, get a bunch of weapons, and I'll be good.
Actually, I think one of the best things about that sandbox style was, especially with the special system they used, is there was any number of times I can remember I just piled on the luck stat and just picked a direction to walk until until I was rich and powerful with random crap.
It was hilarious. Especially like you get the alien blaster in no time. Right? Oh, cool. Yeah, all right. Yeah, this will be good. But
I don't think I can be sued by the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon this many years after it went off. But yes, the Scrooge gun, as I always like to call it.
So aptly named.
It was a wonderful find.
So aptly named. Well, but getting into Fallout, the most predominance, of course, is 3, Vegas, and 4.
Yeah. And that's after Bethesda took over.
Exactly. And Bethesda had really altered it by saying you've got first-person shooter based, and a lot of people were kind of, hit or miss with that, with the VATS targeting system.
Yes, which was actually a big part of it.
It's kind of a time saver in a lot of retrospect, rather than just shooting free hand, if you will. The biggest complaints, though, I heard about this, cracked me up, and yes, I got to cover it. The biggest complaints for Fallout 3 was they took away our ability to shoot in the eyes and in the balls. That is not an exaggeration. That's just, fucking sad, really.
Yes. It is sad that people miss the ability to shoot in the testicles. It's a little sad to look at it from the other direction.
When you're going, look at these gorgeous graphics.
They designed a game in which you could specifically shoot a person in the testicles.
Admittedly, the first 2 games did actually have that option. And they would even have a little written scroll text. Just that, he'll never have children. Oh, this one's doubled over, wincing in pain.
Let's think what that development roundtable sounded like. No, it's a great idea. We're going to have...
Gentlemen, we got to be able to shoot him in the balls.
I've got this great idea for the game that you can actually call your shots on specific body parts.
Well, that makes sense. You want to cripple a guy.
That's right.
Make sure he doesn't run away.
Or their leg, yeah.
Right.
Direct shot to the head.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's brilliant. But, Jim, you got to add balls to that list.
I'm sorry? Balls, sir?
No, balls.
But we're already going in a pretty masculine general direction.
Absolutely. And, it's great that you got realistic things like you can shoot a guy in the leg or you can shoot a guy in the arm.
Well, yeah, that's what we were, the demographics
but
were
you
showing.
know what, Jim? Nothing's funnier than getting shot in the balls.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, funny sells, Jim. But funny sells.
Okay, I'll see if I can put that into
Tell me,
figures.
Jim, how many times have you laughed when you saw a man get kicked in the balls?
Well, not really.
Right?
I thought it was
exactly.
Kind of,
Watch, I'm going to kick you in the balls right now.
No, really, sir.
Everybody else is going to laugh.
No, sorry, actually.
See, I'm laughing right now. I can't help it.
Nice to see that we ran this game as far as we have. But no, actually, what I thought was so funny, and again, all the love that came to Fallout 3.
Yeah.
And once again, it's predominantly because of good story, diversity, and a decent voice cast. Hell, you can just go off our two major voice actors alone on Fallout 3. You've got Liam Neeson. If you don't know who the fuck he is, well, imagine being taken. And then taken again. And again. And guy's only been in the fucking movies for 40 years. The hell do I know?
I can't remember what I was watching, but the comedian made a very good point. By the time you got to Taken 3, this guy's a really shitty father.
Yeah, when you just kind of back it in like, Pop, you really don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you got the whole aspect of growing up from childbirth in Vault 101. Mm-hmm. A underground fallout shelter capable of housing 1,000 people. Though I did find it amusing, no matter what your sex, skin color, ethnic origin. God, I hate that fucking term.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Your dad is always Liam Neeson. But the best Liam Neeson is Asian Liam Neeson. You see these very just well-defined features on this very predominant Irish accent coming out. I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'll work with it. It's good.
Son, you're going to leave the vault, but I want you to know wherever you go, I will find you.
Well, then I'll kill you.
Yeah.
But the whole aspect, your dad is a scientist. He striving to help humanity. He's really just got ideals. He's nowhere near as cynical as he technically should be when you see all this crap that's happening.
You know, it occurs to me, though, that's not unrealistic. I mean, in the 90s, I watched a movie where a boy raised by Mohicans tells a woman in a strong Irish accent.
Let that come back.
Yeah. Just stay alive.
Just out of curiosity, and maybe I'm spitballing here, but why Daniel Day-Lewis? Don't get me wrong, the guy can act his way out of a fucking paper bag. It doesn't matter. It's still an Irish guy playing a Native American. We're that stupid?
Because he had black hair.
Oh, okay. Well, no. But now when you put it that way, I feel really stupid even bringing it up now.
Really? It's... Okay. And that note.
Yeah.
So
well, there are some complaints about the third game.
Oh, I can tell you.
Well, yeah, you were talking about it.
I was going to gouge my eyes out within the first 10 minutes of the fucking game. Why?
It is lengthy.
All right.
I will not lie to you. It is 30 minutes of you being infant to about 10 to finally you're, 19? Oh, no, you got to be 16 to take the GOAT or the Generalized Occupation Aptitude Test. And then finally, we rounded out 3 years later, you're 19, apparently a man of the world, and have to vacate the vault.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a new spin on
an old thing.
Well, having to teach you all the little different aspects of the game. And so that was their goal. I mean, at one point, what age were you when you get your BB gun?
You're just turned 9, I think.
That's right. And
or 10, excuse me. Yeah, you turned 10.
And what kind of world is this where they shove you down a hallway and they're like, look, there are rad roaches.
Go
big enough
pop
to eat
one
a
of
man's
those,
face. You've got to kill them yourself with this BB gun.
Yes. Let's point out these roaches are about the size of a dachshund. Now imagine a flying dachshund. Yeah. Not looking so good now, is it?
Now go back and imagine a roach, because, honestly, that's bad enough.
So it's a roach the size of a dachshund that flies.
Yeah.
Spits, bites. It's going to take a huge chunk of flesh out, too, with those pinchers.
It's going to eat your fucking face.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But I love how people are just so nonchalant in this timeline. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, that shit happens. Meanwhile, everything and anything has been saturated in radiation. So you have giant scorpions, giant mole rats. For some reason, cattle has 2 heads.
Though ghouls, which are mutated people, are kind of smaller, actually, really.
It varies.
Yeah.
In some levels, too. And again, there's the 2 differentials, too. You've got the ghouls that just basically look like human beings with, a face like ground chuck. Meanwhile, you have ferals, which, they're pretty much full-on zombie at you.
Which, help me understand, why is it when you get radiation poisoning, your nose falls off? Your nose always falls off.
It is kind of bizarre.
Why? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of them seem to have even so much of a snout.
I don't have anywhere to go with that. It was just
No,
an
actually,
observation.
It is kind of bizarre, though.
Right?
And they lose all their hair.
Yeah.
And
cancer treatment tells you that
you're so they look like walking. Just cancer ads? Is there such thing as one?
Yes.
Hey kids, smoke this, and you may turn into this.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, good time.
When you figure when the bomb dropped, everyone had Camel cigarettes in their hospitals anyway.
That made sense.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that they managed to scoop up X amount of music to add to the radio. If you're stupid enough to leave it on whilst perusing and, I don't know, just digging through areas that that may or may not have X amount of killer raiders, super mutants, aforementioned feral ghouls.
I was going to say,
frickin' centaurs.
With the introduction of the new Fallout 4, the ghouls have got to be feral ghouls have got to be the greatest danger.
Gotten so creepy, and it was such kind of a nice added, but at the same time, after about 20 minutes of that, you're going, okay, you really need to stop doing that.
When you're playing the game in the dark
and
by yourself,
you jump, in your own chair, you're like, oh Jesus.
Playing a fucking video game.
I know.
For God's sake.
That's all.
Grow up hair, man, is what I say to myself in the mirror after I finish crying on the floor because a feral ghoul crawled out of a crack in the wall.
The funny aspect, though, is Fallout 3 did get Game of the Year for 2008.
Yeah.
And people are still raving about it. They're still doing mods. They're still doing this. They're still doing the DLCs. They found stuff they haven't played prior. And I'm going, that's kind of the beauty of these games. Replayability.
Well, again, and it comes back to the fact that it's that sandbox environment they create for the game.
Right.
That leaves... Essentially, they just pepper the game world with all of this... And it's not even necessarily relevant to the plot line.
Everyone makes this big spiel how it's the first open-ended game that lets you do this and this. And I'm like, no, the first 2 did that. Yeah, it's just that graphics weren't up to the same quality. Yeah. What's hilarious, though, think about all the folks that have done the voice work for those, just like the first game alone. You had Richard Dean Anderson, Tony Shalhoub, Clancy Brown. You had Cree Summer. It's this huge cast, and you're going, my God, this is astounding. I think one of the funnier aspects is still got to be on to Vegas.
Yes.
Now, vastly shorter intro. Thank you.
Which, didn't we touch on Vegas in the Fallout environment in 2?
Very similar.
Yeah. Just lightly. Vegas.
Yeah, in essence, this is not another Vault Dweller.
Yeah.
Not unlike the second game.
Yeah.
So our would-be courier found himself in quite a pickle. As he has a shallow grave.
A fuzzy pickle?
Oh, I hope not. Could have been a brown pickle for all I know. Yeah, I don't give a black banana. It could have been anything. That being said, he gets shot in the face by, of all people, Matthew Perry. Yeah. So already, your day's off to a shitty start.
When Matthew Perry shoots you in the face.
Well, at least if it was Schwemmer, he might have been able to emote better. Or if it was Matt LeBlanc, he could at least ask, hey, how you doing? Before shooting you in the face.
And going on to a lousy movie career.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Much like many of the friends.
Yeah. They're doing a reunion, you know.
Oh, how delightful.
Everybody's doing a reunion.
Oh, good. I will contact my ex-wife, never, about
Full
this.
House is doing a reunion.
Yeah, I know.
That
okay, stop. We're back on Fallout. Where all these people were dead.
I got you.
Thankfully.
On topic.
Now our latter game, Fallout New Vegas, brings us obviously to the Mojave Desert. Which, yes, while that is located as well in California, it is predominantly through Vegas.
that middle girl in the Full House remake grew up to be.
I don't give a rat's ass. I am 6 times removed from giving a shit.
So yes,
moving right along, an area that's more or less not been touched by the war. Vegas itself, which you're going, boy, you think if anything would have gotten bombed, it would have been Sin City. You motherfucker, you screwed me out of my life insurance. Something of that magnitude.
Why? What's there of military value to destroy on the?
I don't see a real strategic value. I mean, there's not even a real. I mean, there is a SAC out there, and there is a few. Well, there's also the Air Force Base in question.
Yeah, there is.
You got Edwards, but I guess you really don't have a lot to blow up there. It's already desert. Do you want to make glass?
Yeah. And honestly,
gosh, how much glass should there be, right?
And honestly, destroying the Strip is kind of redundant. I mean,
have you seen how some of that's kind of tacky?
The Strip destroys people all on its own. You don't need to.
I bring you to the Pink Flamingo, a 60-foot high Pink Flamingo, which, admittedly, a really handy and able point of reference. Turn left at the giant flamingo. You're never going to miss it. You have to be literally blind to not see it. But again, it does do the cliche of the 50s influence. Yeah. What's fun here is we get a mixture of happy-go-lucky gamblers, ranch hand cowboys, beef barons, all these aspects that is along this weird desert land.
Yeah.
Which I'm going, how do you raise that much cattle out here? I've been through the better chunk of Vegas, and there is some cattle ranching out there, but at the same time, I'm just going, it's hot as balls. How do you keep them from not just dropping dead?
I hear the ranch bunnies out there, too.
Oh, well, yes, but that's an entirely different profession, so to speak.
No farming out there.
Oh, there's plenty of farming. Yeah. But our main... what's so funny is this is also the first game where there is really factions.
Yes.
It's the end of the day, like the third game, you could go on the Brotherhood of Steel route. You could join the Enclave.
Yep.
You could let the Super Mutants win. I don't know what else you could have done further in there. In this aspect, you have the option of joining the NCR, or the New California Republic, which all comes from, and this all correlates back to the first game. This originated from Shady Sands and built up.
Which, actually, that is worth pointing out right here. One of the most beloved aspects of the Fallout franchise is the way they carry things through.
Yeah,
from
exactly. There is continuity.
And especially, everybody loves the running gags.
And Raymond.
Yes, and Raymond.
No.
Speaking of running gags. But
everybody loves it, Raymond.
What was the name of that ghoul that went from the first game to the second game? He had a tree growing out of his
Festus.
head. Yes.
Which, right there, that's a great Gunsmoke reference. You're sitting there going, how old were the developers that did this? Just like, there's a lot of jokes here that I'm going, phew, should go over a lot of heads. Case in point, Michael Dorn.
Yeah.
Of such beloved standings as, of course, Chips. Yeah, I thought I'd do that one first. You don't remember his motorcycle cop, Jebediah Turner? Nothing?
No.
Wow, really?
It's lost on me.
You're older than I am, and you didn't get that? Jesus. Wow, it is the first thing that goes is memory. Okay.
He lies, folks.
Or if you prefer, Worf from Star Trek Next Generation.
There we go.
All right. At any rate, he was a super mutant and was the local sheriff and mayor of this town called Broken Hills, which is just like a stone throw into Utah, traveling through the better chunk of California.
Yeah.
Apparently, after the events, dealing with the tribal vault dweller descendant and blowing up the Enclave. Oh, I know, more spoilers. Yeah, that was 98. Get the fuck over it. He decides to go out further into the Mojave. At this point, Marcus is a little over, I want to say, 400 years old?
Something like that.
Now, he's one of the few super mutants that actually kept his intelligence. Everyone else is usually, want to crush, when to crush now.
In fact, actually, it's established that the older a super mutant gets,
they were probably the first batch.
Yeah, they get bigger and dumber.
Yeah, so I think the older super mutants were made up from the first dipping batch, and they were able to keep their intelligence. It was a very convoluted plot to create equality amongst humanity.
By turning them green.
Exactly. But, as you know, it's not easy being green.
My biggest problem was in the later run where they dipped poodles in the and turned them into giant gamma-radiated...
Sean, that was Ang Lee's Hulk.
Okay.
We've been over this.
I get those confused sometimes.
I don't know. I kind of thought the Roddy was kind of cool.
Because, I mean, as the older he got, the bigger and dumber he got, too, in that movie. And I'm talking about Ang Lee, not the Hulk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. Well, with that standing, though, you've got New California Republic that's put their own series of outposts, and they end up hooking up with Nevada.
Yeah.
They already formed these assortment of rangers.
Yeah, that's right.
So they combine their forces, and you have X amount of troops for X amount of rangers. You got like 2 or 3 or 4 stationed at a time, and you got the infantry.
Yeah.
And they're just widely spread all over Vegas in general, or just Nevada, I guess was a better description.
Because really, it's the game.
Yeah, it's really a good chunk of Nevada.
Yeah.
With that being said, you also have a militaristic... ruthless, I guess, incarnation of what is supposed to be the Roman Imperium.
Yeah.
Led by, oddly enough, a Caesar.
Yeah, in his palace.
Coupled with the fact we have other throwbacks to the previous games. You have the... oh, great. My brain just totally locked up. I'm having a Shawn moment! Get! The Followers of the Apocalypse. Basically, all these folks do is they have technology, science, mathematics, best ways to translate and teach, as well as just simple like farm applications.
Yeah,
teach you how to make the crops more solvent. And
what price?
Nothing. They just generally want to help people. And the Followers Apocalypse goes as far back as the first game, which goes all the way back out to the, quote, boneyard.
I'm pretty sure they make you take a pamphlet, though.
Oh, yeah, there is a little bit of kumbaya there. Yeah. But that standing, you also have your own capability. You can roll with who's technically in charge of Vegas, Mr. House, and his fleet of Securitron robots.
More wonderful products brought to you by General Atomics.
Actually, this would be Robco.
Oh, that's
your Pip-Boy is going to work.
Yeah.
When you hear tick, tickety, tick, that's your grad meter. Or just rad meter. That's your Geiger counter.
Meter.
That's your Geiger counter. You better split right now, motherfucker.
It meters your rounds.
Indeed. It also mellows you out, man. Or wait, no, that's the great cons to do that, because they make you whatever drugs you want. Now, the fun aspect of this game is you get to learn different things.
Yes.
Because you basically are a survivalist. You're not a vault dweller. You're learning shit as you go. So you get to learn to make food, feasible drinks. You can make your own medicine to heal whatever wounds, because you may not be anywhere near a new town and get a stim pack.
Well, and you can make drugs, too.
Yeah.
And
you can make your own stim packs, for God's sakes. So you have that.
Well,
you also have
recreational drugs. I think
there's those
one
two.
Of the few games where recreational drugs have existed.
And it's been so funny how many references they made. And, by the way, Australia had a big poo-poo on it because of all the drug references.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their censorship's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no problem with obligatory titty, but violence and drug usage, that's...
Well, yeah.
Well, that's very negative.
Boobs don't hurt anything.
That's what I've been saying to the States for ages. Whip a titty out. It's okay. I'm Jake for Pro Tit.
Order your automatron today.
Sex robot. So, there's X amount of side quests. You have the same game engine for that same level of smooth graphics play, and the dialogue is very well synced. You'll have an occasional hiccup, but that might just be simply you don't have the RAM to handle it. Ever since I did the cleanup with my RAM, I got more RAM than a field of sheep, man. I'm serious. I am good.
Really?
Yeah, I went there.
Sheep.
Yeah, I did there.
Why do you always come back to sheep, man?
Because
you're always talking about the sheep.
Goat Simulator was really boring. No, seriously, that is a very boring game. You know they're up to 15 versions of that.
It's almost as bad as toast.
15.
Oh, excuse me, bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty boring too.
Yeah.
The biggest standing that you also have the modifications you can put on weapons.
That's right, they did.
I mean, even something as simple as that hunting rifle can be tricked out to a night scope. It can have an extended magazine.
Yeah.
It can have a sound suppressor. I'm going, so where's the laser sight, too? I mean, you've made this really easy. And even those crappy rifles, the varmint rifle has a great range.
Though, you know what I love that they kept from the first to where we are now at Vegas, 4. And we'll soon be talking about 4, is the perks.
Yeah, with the minor exception of the third game, where you would get a perk every level, and everybody thought, oh, that's really cool. Us old school gamers are going, what the fuck is this? Yeah. It's supposed to be every 3 levels. What the hell? Not that I really had a problem getting a perk. I'm just going, it kind of takes away the joy of me going, I'm going to level up. Oh, right. Yeah, I get a perk. Okay. I'll get on that, won't I? Here, I just increased my strength. Now he can carry, I don't know, everything. He can do all the push-ups.
Yeah. But perks in general were a great addition to the game.
And what's so fun about them is they're so outlandish or really essential.
Some of them are very useful.
It's like, I can live off the land. Or, I can
people.
Shoot a guy from 500 yards. Or, yes, I can eat people. Or I can drink vats and vats of radioactive water and not only not worry about horrible mutations occurring, but in many retrospects, it'll improve my health.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, I can choose to have people explode when I shoot them.
Oh God,
because there's not enough blood in the game.
I love that random violence. I love that random violence perk. It is so wrong. What is that? Reckless? Graphic violence? What was that?
Graphic violence.
Graphic violence.
I'm pretty sure it's graphic violence.
It was just so much fun to watch them just randomly explode. And it didn't matter where you hit him, too. You're like, shot him in the knee. Jesus, he went chutney.
Yep.
I didn't think he would go to chunks. But, honestly, the whole aspect of that game is it also brought some more music. And it really did encompass a lot of what Vegas really is. I mean, the strip in question that has been saved looks like from the Nugget and on.
Oh, yeah.
Being a fellow who's actually been to Vegas, it's really it's a nice throwback. It looks exactly as when the Dunes was allowed to continue, before they blew it up. Bastards. So mad. Like, you can't do that. That's history. But, of course, what's so funny is predominantly for all these games is, and we forgot to talk about this, the storyteller, or our narrator, is Ron frickin' Perlman. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
And if you don't know who Ron Perlman is, go watch Hellboy. I don't know. Alien Resurrection, Blade 2. Hey, you can go even further back. Go to Chronos. How about Beauty and the Beast? Pick something! Anyway. Sorry, I got a little bitter there. Sorry. Bad touch.
Yes. The ugliest man to ever have hundreds of 80s women
frothing.
Hiding away for his hairy head.
Does the term frothing loins work in this? I think it works. Also, of our voice cast, we have Will Wheaton, who does something silly. He's one of the robots.
Will Wheaton does something silly?
I know. I was shocked, too.
That's a divergence from his normal.
He's just one of the little robo-brains.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry I have to kill you now, sir. And just all these little comments. If you would hold still, this will be over really quick. Felicia Day is one of the predominant characters from, oddly enough, her character is named Veronica.
Yeah.
And she lives in a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
If I give you more, you'll all bitch. But in essence, she's a bright-eyed girl from California with stars in her eyes and a pneumatic gauntlet on her right hand. As previously mentioned, Michael Dorn reprises Marcus.
Yeah.
And, of course, my favorite is still how it felt like Matthew Perry just kind of phoned in his read.
Yeah.
I just assume he's not really used to voice acting. And even, you kind of got the vibes like, why am I really here? I mean, I've never done this.
Honestly, he's no fun since he got off drugs anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. That's one to think of, folks. Remember, keep doing drugs.
They make you funny.
Yeah, or Keith Richards. Either way, it's still going to be a fucking ride.
So, be true to yourself unless you can be Keith Richards. Then be Keith Richards.
Quitters only lose.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Now I'm baffled.
Thank you, Rolling Stones, for those great life lessons. Okay.
Okay. Are you sure they don't just have like a necromancer just animates him? And then they just drop him back in this like hermetically sealed chamber. So he doesn't deteriorate.
They put it back in the coffin and they nail it shut. And you can come out when there's another concert.
Oh, I figured they just kind of kept him in a chamber so, your Obia man or your Papa Zonga didn't have to work as hard on keeping preservation spells.
I gotcha.
It's just kind of like an aid to him. So he's not busting his ass, going to have to come home like every couple of weeks and put him back together.
Actually, little do you know, Keith Richards is an angel. He comes down from heaven to do these shows and goes back up there again. God really believes in marijuana and cocaine.
Ah, okay.
He's all about that.
You sure he's not just like maybe a fallen angel?
Look at a fucking platypus and tell me that God isn't about doing an 8-ball.
Well, yeah, admittedly. Also, what's the point of the sloth?
Thank you, Robin.
The sloth? What is the point?
Yeah.
Like, I could maim you, but I'd have to get up first. I'm really comfortable on this branch.
Gosh. And then, after Vegas, we moved our way into the newly released Fallout 4.
Oh, indeed. With all the crazy cults, screwy robots, super mutants, raiders that are now being overly dominated by the new mercenary crew.
Oh, yeah.
It makes the Black Talon guys look positively normal.
The gunners.
The gunners.
Yeah.
All las weapon and military fatigues. But
the
honestly,
Brotherhood of Steel got a good up.
You got to give credit where credit's due in this game. Now, there's a lot of people complaining it's the same game engine that's doing the same graphics. And here's my only point. I didn't have to upgrade my computer to play the game.
On top of that...
How many times have we had to do that?
Yeah, on top of that...
Just in your lifetime.
Don't fix what ain't broken.
Exactly. Honestly, you got the same... Oh, God. I have talked to folks that have been on there for like 45 minutes just fucking with their face.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I could do a scar here, and let's give them just kind of a wicked-looking goatee. And before you knew it, I was on there for an hour fucking with it the first time.
I just want to know why.
Because Jay's been playing. My girlfriend's been playing.
Yeah.
I just blurted her name, but she'll get over it. But she's been playing for over an hour, and she's like, honey, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I just haven't quite figured out the right look. I can't seem to get the nose right.
Yeah, no one can get the nose right.
I finally did.
Right. Oh, did you?
Yeah, I actually his button nose is my own. It was hilarious. That being said, however, an hour had passed.
Yeah.
But I'm still...
And you're like,
trying to tweak it.
I've been doing this for a fucking hour, really?
Yeah, and I've still been tweaking them.
The difference with Fallout 4 is, unlike the other ones, you actually start the game pre-bomb. Which makes me wonder why, when you're designing your face pre-bomb, you have options like a scar and radiation
the whole base
burns across half your face.
Well, Shawn, if you paid attention to the narrative instead of skipping over it, as so many do, you would know that our vault dweller in this endeavor was formerly a soldier in the last Great War prior to the nuclear fallout.
No, I jumped straight to the educational videos.
Well... Wait, you were just looking at porn online. That's not educational. Well, okay, not technically speaking, that could be educational.
I learned some interesting
things. So that's where you put it.
I learned some interesting things. The Alabama... No. Anyway.
Oh, God, no. Anyway!
But no, it's absolutely entertaining. In Fallout 4, the little educational cartoons.
The Alabama Hot Pocket.
No. There's no Alabama Hot Pocket.
Oh, you're talking about the specials.
Yeah.
Those were freaking hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. And I loved that 1950s educational movie.
It's got the whole
look.
PSA feel to it. It's the public safety public safety awareness videos. They say there, fella, gonna run out in the wasteland, but you may not be prepared yet. Perhaps you should look at your special pamphlet.
Intelligence is important. Absolutely. But no, in this one with Fallout 4, we are, I believe we're 200 years in the future, now from the time that the bomb dropped. But we actually get to see what the world was like before it was all blown to hell. Before Charlton Heston came along and screamed at a broken Statue of Liberty, the world was the idyllic version of 1950s Rockwell America with atomics on top of it. I mean, this was Johnny has a paper route, Mom makes casserole,
robot servant tends to your garden.
You have a couple of bottles of Nuka-Cola in the fridge as a special treat for those.
Your car has fins again.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's all got that nice retro 50s feel.
But it hovers over the ground.
Well, what's so funny is when you think about it, you have all this 1950s retro feel because it's like they just readapted it. You know, not dissimilar to how people do that with vehicles, clothing, architecture.
I think you have to take into account...
It's like a 50s revival.
Well, in a certain way, it's like McCarthyism won. And they said,
to a degree,
this America is the best non-red, communist America you could ever have. And we're going to keep it that way.
So by that same basis of thought, that means rock and roll was burned.
That's why there's no Beatles on your radio.
No, this has actually got some precedent. Yeah. So it's like after 1950s, we just didn't bother to build on to the music.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you listen to modern day radio mainstream, you're probably kind of wishing for nuclear Armageddon too.
And if you've been playing Fallout 4, you probably have Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye stuck in your head all night long.
Oh my God, how much? Or Louis Armstrong is constantly playing in my head. But yeah, no. Admittedly, there's only so much Billie Holiday I can have in one sitting. Yeah, you played Vegas long enough, you really get sick of that soundtrack.
Yeah.
But no, the whole basis of it is your character, male or female, is a mother or father, a husband or a wife. Yeah, I was getting that.
I do.
The biggest problem I have is they took away what I found to be the most entertaining thing out of Vegas. This is basically make your character omnisexual. Not bisexual, not gay, omnisexual, to win all the perks of your language or charisma boosts. It's like, hey, that's okay, buddy. Yeah, you work pretty hard. Yeah, it's all right. But, that endeavor got taken away, and for some reason, even the hint of homosexuality is just a big no-no. I don't know. I don't think they had an ulterior agenda, per se. I can't say because I don't know. But yeah, we have this idyllic 1950s revival. And not far from your neighborhood is a newly built Vault 111. As you are informed by a Vault Tech sales rep who reserves you and your family a spot, given that you are a former soldier, if you're playing the male character. Even if you're not playing the male character, because your husband served, you automatically have a reservation for it.
I think you're missing the fact that because this story starts our character back in that idyllic 1950s environment, he can't be gay because, only commies are gay.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah. So I think that shines a light
again. On that. We're not fully certain on that aspect. We know
True.
that,
it's never
but
been
it's so amazing to see this flourishing neighborhood. It's just this little cul-de-sac. That's all it is. It's just a little suburb, and you see the little handy bots trimming the hedges.
Yeah.
You see cars hovering by. You see more than a few of the handy bots walking the dogs. Just all these little just idyllic aspects. You see mom and dad enjoying dinner that they made in their own serviceable oven and what have you. It's really a gorgeous look to it. Just the graphics alone will make you weep. That being said, however, as our game is launched into standing, we don't have the same narrative Ron Perlman, which admittedly I got a little pissed, only to find out that Ron is actually the television reporter who announces the ICBMs are being launched. All you're seeing is flashes around New York and Pennsylvania, Washington.
now we've gone from a narrator to an internal monologue at times.
Exactly. There is quite a bit of that. The biggest standing I have, though, now there is going to be more than a few complaints about the game. There's a lot of cons. Case in point, loading screens.
Oh.
From being able to journey from one point to the other, unless you're doing it, just full on running, versus clicking onto it and moving into it, just fast click.
Travel.
The fast travel is anywhere from 30 seconds to up to about 5 minutes.
A carryover from Bethesda's Morrowind or Elder Scrolls franchise, the whole fast travel and the loading screens.
Those loading screens didn't go on nearly as long.
Yeah,
might have to do with the graphic compression wasn't as in demand, I grant you.
I don't know, but it's a curse of the Bethesda games that at some point you're going to wish you'd done a quick save before you travel.
Yes. The other big complaint I have is the lag entering buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Going up floors like via elevator, or just finding a hidden location. This is another realm for where it just drags.
Yeah. That
other aspect is lockup or the game just crashing. This is not uncommon. This is actually kind of a Fallout staple. Yeah. Really. I mean, just learn to hit save. Quick save, folks. It's F5.
It's a reason they invented it. Well, that and feral ghouls.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, death claws are the reason they invented quick save.
Now, for the pros, I got to talk about the creatures.
Yeah, they really stepped it up.
Oh my god, their game has gone above and beyond. Our mole rats are hiding underground, waiting to jump out at you. They're no longer just looking cute and twitching and occasionally running over and trying to bite your leg off.
Where's my fucking golden geckos, though?
Yeah, admittedly.
Where is that?
Well, you know what? Predominant. I'm going to go with that was reptilian base and not really widely found down your East Coast.
That is a good point.
I think that should stay in California and Nevada.
That's a good point.
Some areas of Utah. That being said, however, oh my god, the ghouls are frickin' terrifying. They move bonelessly. They'll slide in through adjacent windows and rooms.
When they charge you.
Yeah.
I am amazed with the look and the and the senseless terror
freaking growl that they utter, and you're just go, I think I just peed a little again.
I mean,
thank you.
Honestly, the Death Claw should be one of the most horrific monsters you see in the game, and yet this piddly, easy to kill creature, when it starts coming at you in waves,
it's for a freaking swarm, man.
Yeah. Add the radiation factor
to
it.
I still love how so the updates on the Deathclaw, if it gets a hold of you, it'll shake the shit out of you and chuck you up the street. That was cracking me up. I'm going, I have no response for this.
I will say that is one thing that is a con to the game, and it's in its newest format, is that you can walk anywhere you want to.
Yeah.
Including into a spot where you will be stuck for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah, again, folks,
a death claw could throw you there.
Again, we have no other comment other than you run into something, hit F5.
Yep. Do that
quick save.
Go around a corner, hit F5. Open the door, hit F5.
It has been killing those games.
Fill your hard drive to the brim with...
Which is highly impossible.
Save. Yep. And
I know. I just thought that was hilarious, though. How many times I've gone, just hit it and going... case in point, I did a side quest.
Yeah.
You become a iconic superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Known as the Silver Shroud. Well...
That is a great one.
I tried to save Kent 8 times last night. 8 times. Nothing came true.
Yeah.
Nothing to fruition. I was so pissed. I finally just gave up. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it. I can't do anything else. I also ended up restarting my game for that whole... just completely over. So I'm starting my character now with 9 in intelligence and charisma.
Yeah.
So I can bullshit and do tech. And that, honestly, is one of the more fun aspects. People will sit there like, but you need a lot of strength. Like, not when you get a frickin' power armor and at least 2 additional fusion cores. Ta-da!
And that is another new introduction to the game.
Oh my god!
The expansion of modding.
There is so much power armor in the Commonwealth. You can't throw a rock without hitting one of these fucking machines.
When I first started playing the game, I'm like, why is there a power armor repair station here? And here. And I found
everywhere.
Out it's because I've got 10 sets of power armor, and I need a place to keep each one.
Kind of feel a little Stark motif here. Oh, folks, if I could just say, if you feel the game's dragging on, or you feel like it's really not worth your time, just keep updating your science. Yep. Update your nuclear physicist. You're going to want to do a little blacksmithing. And I summon to you in a compound word. Jetpack. Jetpack.
And if